Welcome to Beauty and the Biz. Discover how to grow your practice with effective cosmetic patient attraction, conversion, and retention advice from author, speaker, trainer, and cosmetic practice business and marketing coach, Catherine Maley, MBA.
Hello, and welcome to this special presentation entitled How to Run Your Practice Like a Business. I'm Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice and consultant to plastic surgeons since year 2000, where my goal is to get you more patients and more profits. Because believe it or not, the business side of surgery is quickly becoming as important as the surgery itself. So I highly recommend you turn off your phone and close your internet browser because you'll soon discover how to increase your cosmetic practice revenues by 27% without hiring more staff, spending more on advertising, competing on price, and working more than 40 hours per week. Just imagine what it would be like coming to an office that runs smoothly with or without you, having a team supporting you, having a plan in place that generates more consistent revenues you can count on month after month, differentiating yourself as the best choice so you don't compete on price, and having systems in place you can measure so you know at a glance if you're healthy or hurting. This presentation will give you the structure to run your cosmetic surgery practice like a well-oiled machine. So you might be asking, why am I qualified to talk about the business side of surgery? Well, I founded and ran the Masters Academy of Surgeons Coaching Club with Dr. Ed Williams as the professor. Now, Dr. Williams is a very successful surgeon in upstate New York. He has a 22,000 square foot facility with 40 plus staff, multiple surgeons, and several profit centers. So together, we taught other surgeons how to make more out of their own practices. Now, I still run into our surgeon alumni at the medical conferences, and I receive emails and calls from them telling me how enlightening and empowering the information has been for them in growing their own profitable practices. So in this presentation, we'll talk about the state of the aesthetic industry, the 4 core success principles needed to run a successful plastic surgery practice, and I have a special invitation for us to work together to fine-tune your own practice. Now, the global medical aesthetics market is alive and well, and it's estimated to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 10.8% due to the increasing demand from the public to look and feel great and the technological advancements. However, this is a big challenge for surgeons when the technical advancements create relentless competition among non-core practitioners and surgeons. Now, technical advancements also encourage the cosmetic patient to demand less downtime, pain, scarring, and cost. That can affect the demand for surgical procedures and decrease it due to the non-surgical options today's patients have. By the way, in our Surgeons Coaching Club, the goal was to have no more than 28% of your revenues coming from you, the surgeon. So I'll show you strategic ways to make that happen. Now, another challenge that happens is the cycle of an industry. Plastic surgeons were the early adopters and the early majority. But because of the economic, political, government, technology, and social trends, cosmetic rejuvenation went mainstream, and this changed everything. Cosmetic surgeons are still an elite group of service providers. However, every other specialty stepped in to get their piece of the pie. That leads to too much hype. These new providers spend a lot on offline and online advertising and marketing hype because they have to in order to enter the marketplace. But that makes it nearly impossible for you to stand out and be heard over the noise going on today. And to make it worse, this additional supply of service providers creates confusion in the mind of the cosmetic patient. Cosmetic patients today have too much choice, so they don't know what is the best procedure given their problem and who is the best provider to provide that solution. So how do you compete successfully given all these challenges? You need the razor's edge. You discover what the other top cosmetic surgical practices do to stay above their competitors, and you model what works. Because the life cycle of any practice always comes to a fork in the road. You're either growing or you're dying in today's marketplace. There's no room for idling. To help ensure you continue to grow and set yourself up for a certain future, let's go over the 4 core success principles in more detail. Now, number one core principle, build a team of rock stars. You might believe it's impossible to find good staff, or the ones you do find are mediocre or average at best, or your staff doesn't care about the practice like you do, and they're not converting prospective patients like into paying patients. In fact, oftentimes they chase patients away and you don't even know it. Or they don't know how to promote you as the best choice to the patient, and it goes on and on. Now, this may be true or not true. However, you can't build your successful cosmetic practice on your own. There's just not enough of you to go around. You need a team of rock stars that are trained and motivated to ensure your success. The kind of team who have your back, who eagerly and cheerfully sing your praises to prospective patients, who take care of your current patients and treat them like family, and who work together as a team. Because the opposite of that opens the door to what you don't want to happen: high staff turnover, an uncomfortable working environment, tension, or God forbid, embezzlement. None of that is likely to happen when you're set up properly. But it goes both ways. 70% of employees quit a job over frustration. So, to avoid losing good A players, they need from you clarity, acknowledgement, recognition, and the feeling of significance. That means you're the captain of the ship. In order for you to transform staff into your dream team, it starts with you. They need to know your vision for your practice so they can help you get there. They need to know what you want to accomplish and what that means to them. They also need clear feedback and accountability, and we'll go over that in more detail. So it starts with the who. There's a saying in business that goes, you get the right people on the bus, and then you get them in the right seat. To do that, you need to know where to look for rock stars, what qualities to look for that will make the biggest impact on your practice, and what to ask during the interview to ensure they have the winning traits to succeed. But then you need to train them. When I do on-site assessments in cosmetic surgery practices, the staff often complains to me that they're not clear about their role or their responsibilities or what is expected of them. Now, I realize that can be frustrating to hear because you think you told them already. However, what that's telling you is that something is not right. It says something's wrong with either the people or with the processes. With the right hiring practices, tools, and structure, that will clear up that confusion, so you have the right staff representing you in the best possible light. Finally, you need to track, reward, and celebrate their successes so they continue to perform at a high level. Imagine fixing just this staffing issue. What would that be worth to you if you had the right people in the right seats who were well trained at representing you as the best choice? This alone can be a game changer, but there's so much more. Core principle number 2, strategic marketing and planning. This is important if you're tired of figuring out what to do to attract more patients to your practice. If you're frustrated throwing money at marketing, yet never knowing if it's working or not. And if you're sick of the revenue roller coaster. You may believe you have to spend a fortune to attract new cosmetic patients to your practice, but then you're disappointed with the results you're getting. Heck, a lot of times you don't even know if you're getting results, right? So you keep sinking more money into advertising and marketing and hope it's working. So the question becomes, what is the best way to grow your cosmetic surgery practice? Is it SEO? SEO has been the number one strategy for prospective patients to find your website, but Google rules keep changing. So whatever worked before is no longer working now. I often hear from surgeons that they used to be ranked on page 1 of a search, and now they've fallen into the abyss and they have no idea what happened. Well, in a nutshell, Google happened. As long as others try to game the system, Google will continue to stay one step ahead of them by changing the algorithms. So this is not a fast and easy way to go. Well, maybe it's PPC, otherwise known as Google AdWords. It could be if you're willing to outbid your competitors. So this is expensive, so it's not for the faint of heart. Since plastic surgery is so popular, you might have to spend over $100 per click on your ad. And then you have to pray that internet strangers call you, show up for their consult, and then say yes. Is it consumer directories? Consumer directories were popular, and some still are, but you can't control the quality of leads. So you can wind up wasting your time on those who don't show up and can't say yes. Maybe it's social media. This is so popular. However, it takes you and your staff's time, regularly posted fresh content, and real time attention. It's also tough to monetize this strategy because it's difficult to track the clicks and the results. And worse, it can also be a huge distraction because it sucks you in and it can waste valuable time. As you can see, the list is endless, and that makes it easy to get overwhelmed. So you either don't do anything because you're confused, or you try to do everything and you chase every shiny object, buying into the hype of the latest gimmick because you're sure this will get you ahead of your competitors. But here's the reality: the most successful surgeons I know are not opportunists. The most successful surgeons I know are strategists. Now, instead of chasing marketing tactics, they take time out to create a comprehensive and strategic business and marketing plan using a specific formula based on their successes. For example, they set up a game plan for external and internal systems for new lead generation to help ensure the leads that are coming in are converted to appointments and then converted to procedures, and they also have a plan to nurture the patients they already serve. Because one thing we can all agree on is the fact that the shortest distance between you and a new cosmetic patient ready to say yes is through the patient who knows, trusts, and brags about you to their friends and family, right? And the best part is, instead of spending a lot of time trying to learn the latest tactics and wasting a lot of money on trial and error, they implement a marketing machine to keep a steady stream of new and current patients coming to them on autopilot. Imagine this automatic marketing machine bringing you 3, 4, 5 or more procedures every month. I mean, what's that worth to you? 15K, 30K, 60K? Not only in terms of extra revenues, but also peace of mind, knowing you have a patient attraction plan in place for new and current cosmetic patients. Now, here's core principle number 3: set standards so you don't compete on price. Have you ever said to yourself, cosmetic patients today are so cheap and they only care about price? If so, I can understand why you think that, and it might help to look at it from the patient's point of view. Now, the cosmetic patient who's been researching options is not only confused, but skeptical because not all of they've got to deal with all this hype and then the sheer volume of information. So it's making them very uncertain. While consulting with you, the prospective patient is most likely asking themselves these questions, things like, will I get a good result I'm happy with? Are you the best choice for me? Not a good choice, but are you the best choice? Or should I shop around? So what can you do? You position you as the best choice. That means you answer those questions before the prospective patient even has a chance to ask them. And you give them logical, emotional, and personal reasons why you are the best choice. Now, this takes some creativity, but it's vital to stand out from your competitors. So why are you the best choice? This is not the time to be coy. It's time to brag. Point out what others don't or won't mention because they don't think it's a big deal, or they just don't think about it, because it's the details that differentiate you. For example, use creative visuals to help the patient understand when surgery is necessary for the results they expect. This signage alone differentiates you from all of your non-surgical competitors. I actually have 29 differentiating strategies, and here's one more that works wonders. You pre-frame you as the best by spelling out visually exactly what board certified means in terms of years in education and training, and add the number of procedures you perform, since it'll be very impressive. Now, the patient understands there are more factors to consider other than just price. Stay tuned, and I'll show you how you get these visuals for your own use. But then you need to back it up with awesome customer service before, during, and after, so the cosmetic patient feels special and cared for. I can't stress this enough. That means during every step in your process, every time, no matter what. The patient has a great phone call with your receptionist. They get a great first impression from all the staff they meet. They enjoy speaking with you, and they're comfortable throughout the entire process. This is easier said than done and can't be taken lightly. It's too competitive to be inconsistent with the wow patient experience. Because the secret to growing a cosmetic surgical practice in today's crazy competitive marketplace is to change your focus from how much that one patient and procedure is worth to you one time versus what is the lifetime value of not only that patient and procedure, but the countless other patients and procedures you get when that patient returns again and again and refers their friends and family. That's where all the leverage is. You've already spent a fortune attracting that patient to you, and it takes minimal time and money to keep them. And core principle number 4, set up your practice to grow. It's actually quite simple once you know the key elements to focus on, which are your metrics, your predictable income, as well as your processes and systems. But the key is to keep it simple. When you have your own customized cosmetic practice blueprint, you're almost there because now you can see at a glance a few metrics that make the biggest difference to your bottom line. But they oftentimes get lost in the busyness of running a practice day to day. Now, this blueprint lays out exactly what your cosmetic practice needs to follow in terms of your key performance indicators so you know you are healthy or you're hurting. Because if you don't have this in place, it doesn't matter how many leads you get if you can't convert them or get them to return or refer. But having a blueprint isn't enough. You must measure and assign responsibilities to staff to ensure what you think is happening is actually happening. Now, there's a lot more involved in all of this, so let me stop here and ask you a question. Does this make sense to you? There's a saying, small hinges swing big doors. Can you see how making a few tweaks in your systems, processes, and staff can make a huge difference to your bottom line? And whether your revenues are at 500,000 or 5 million, the right tools, strategies, and how-to concepts would seriously take your practice to the next level? If so, would you like some help with that? If you're even considering hiring a cosmetic practice consultant, then it makes sense to hire the right consultant, assuming you're crystal clear on what you're wanting to accomplish. And here's why. You're probably closer to winning than you think. Consider this. You already did the hard part. You put the blood, sweat, and tears into the tough training, setting up your practice, and building a reputation. You already are dedicating energy, time, and money to improvement. You may not realize it, but that already makes you part of a fraction of only 1% of the entire world who even has the discipline to do what you've done already. Now, it might seem like you've tried everything and failed, but in reality, you're at the 85-yard line. Everybody knows and agrees that having a good coach is critical to success. You already know how valuable it is to know what successful practices do to rise above their competitors. How a new perspective can shed light on the practice gaps you're not seeing, and how having a roadmap to lead you through the maze of practice building saves you countless hours and wasted time and money making mistakes. But there's a problem. Actually, there are several. First of all, good cosmetic practice consultants are extremely expensive, but generally regarded as worth it. The problem isn't necessarily in the cost. The problem is, how do you know the consultant can actually help you? How do you know that it even makes sense for you to hire a consultant in the first place? How do you know, even if the consultant may have a great track record for helping other cosmetic practices, how do you know they're going to be able to help you specifically? Well, first, let's find out if it even makes sense for you to hire a consultant in the first place. Here are 3 steps to follow. Step 1, get crystal clear about the problem by identifying the issue. I want to be successful isn't really a goal. You've got to be specific. We need to understand exactly what it is you want. Do you want to attract more cosmetic patients? If so, how many and by when? Do you want better conversions? If so, by how much and by when? Do you want better online reviews? Do you want more word-of-mouth referrals? Do you want more professional staff representing you? If so, how many and in what positions to make the biggest impact on your bottom line? Here's step number 2. Identify what does not work and stop doing it. The idea that one thing is going to work for everyone is just silly. Every single cosmetic practice is different. They think differently. They have different needs. That's why finding the right consultant with a tailor-made program specifically for you makes the most sense. Think about this. We make plans, we get motivated, we start taking action, and then we stop. Have you tried every ninja shiny object internet trick and you still don't have the results you want? Guess what? That probably isn't the answer, or at least the entire answer. Have you tried mass advertising campaigns aggressive advertising salespeople pressured you for, saying this will make you a celebrity? Again, that probably isn't the answer or the entire answer. It doesn't mean those internet strategies and salespeople are bad. It just means it's not for you. Sure, they'll help a little, but that's not enough. Something is missing. They are not going to take you to the 100-yard line, or else you would already be there. Step number 3, understand you can't do it alone. Think about it. As a cosmetic surgeon in private practice, you most likely feel alone a lot of the time. Like you're the only one who really cares about the health of your practice. Like nobody around you understands the pressure of running a cosmetic surgery practice in today's world. You're not supposed to be alone. We're all supposed to collaborate and work together to solve problems. Very few breakthroughs in the history of mankind have ever been achieved by one person alone without help. If you want to collaborate with someone who feels your pain and has the answers, then this is for you. Here's exactly how I can help you. First of all, I'm not like other consultants in our industry. I don't include fluff or any filler. I don't include untested processes and theory strategies, just the actual tested strategies I've used in the real world with other real practices. The tools are simple to learn. Learning them is not the issue. I've taught these tools since year 2000 in my webinar online trainings, medical conference courses, and speaking engagements. It's applying the materials that can get more tricky. It's when you take the ideas and put them to work in your practice that you might have some bumps in the road. I know I can help you. Usually, it's just a few tweaks that get you from missing the mark or the exact results you're wanting. I've used these exact processes and tools to help hundreds of other cosmetic surgeons and their staff to attract more patients, convert more consultations, and build a successful aesthetic practice built on solid business principles. It's more than just cosmetic practice consulting. It's a system for feeling peace of mind every day consistently. I'm not talking about feeling better for a few minutes. I'm talking about feeling better all day and every day. This simple and effective method doesn't eliminate negative emotion from your life. You'd never want that anyway since you want to grow. It simply teaches you how to manage it in a way that doesn't compound it. If you've already learned the how to build a cosmetic surgery practice concepts and read books on the subject, but aren't seeing the huge benefits yet, this is specifically designed for you. And with all due respect, this is not for the entitled or the arrogant surgeon who knows it all. This is for you if you have a lot working for you already, but you know you could be running a more streamlined and profitable practice. You could use a map of clarity so you have peace of mind knowing all systems and staff are working for the good of the practice and not just selfishly for themselves. And you know the gaps in your practice are costing you dearly. If this sounds like you, this is exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you're watching this presentation because you're one of my 10K plus surgeons and staff who follow me through my online live trainings, my blog, YouTube channel, Facebook page, speaking engagements, and email messages. Now, since year 2000, I've worked specifically with cash-paying cosmetic surgery practices so they get the most out of what they've built already and what they can build for a healthy and profitable future. When you work with me, two things will happen. First, you'll start to become more conscious in your practice. You'll start to understand how much control you have over the experiences you encounter every day. Now, this is really important because if you think your day is just happening to you, then the feeling of powerlessness you experience will prevent you from making the changes and distinctions you're missing. Second, you'll gain peace of mind knowing you now have a plan to follow to get you where you always envisioned yourself to be: successful, profitable, and confident. Now, here's what Dr. Robert Siegel said about working with me. He's the managing partner of this very well-established multi-surgeon plastic surgery practice in a very competitive area. We engaged with Catherine for several reasons. While we run a very successful cosmetic practice, we're always open to discovering new ways to better our best in terms of staff, practice structure, and processes. Given Catherine's years of best practice study around the world, we thought her an excellent choice to help us reimagine our practice. Catherine was instrumental in setting up a new structure that made our large team of surgeons and staff work together more cohesively. She outlined a plan that put key metrics in place, gave us a clear plan to follow throughout the year, and trained our staff to increase their conversions by at least 10%. We immediately felt a renewed sense of optimism and enthusiasm for our growth. Since engaging with Catherine, I'm happy to report that revenues are up 15% over the last 3 months and 22% in the last month alone. I highly recommend Catherine's consulting services to any practice looking for best practice additions to their operation. Her years of experience allowed her to bring outside eyes to your practice, recognize what's off, and recommend concrete, actionable plans for improvement. Now, Dr. Delosier runs a successful, mature plastic surgery practice, and he said, I turned to Catherine to very specifically increase our consultation conversions and decrease our no-show rates. She went above and beyond to make that happen. Our no-show rate is a thing of the past, and I am now seeing better quality consults more likely to book. Catherine went into great detail to review our processes, and that made all the difference. It's true, small hinges do swing big doors, and she was able to identify key areas in our staff scripting, processes, and systems that were holding us back. This was money well spent and more than paid for itself in more consult conversions. Now, here's what Dr. Olson said. He runs a combined facial plastic surgery and dermatology practice and wanted to grow the cosmetic surgery side of his practice. We've been very pleased with our relationship with Catherine. Her recent evaluation and recommendations for our practice have been extremely helpful. Her experience enabled her to accurately evaluate our practice in its current situation and identify potential for growth. Her interaction with our staff has been tremendous. She's got concrete ideas for marketing our practice, ideas that we can implement immediately. We would recommend her services without hesitation. As a matter of fact, I actually ran into Dr. Olson at a medical conference the following year, and he told me that one of my ideas has been worth over $100K to him. Nice, huh? And here's what Dr. Hartman said. We were opening up a cosmetic center in our ENT practice, and I needed help figuring out how to profitably grow a cosmetic practice now, not years from now. However, there were so many different options, and I was getting pulled in so many different directions that I knew I needed someone with experience in working with practices like ours who could give me a roadmap to lead me through the maze to save me time and money. I chose Catherine because I heard her speak at a medical conference, and she was entertaining, knowledgeable, and passionate about helping surgeons grow the cosmetic side of their practice. I also read her book, and that solidified my trust in her. Catherine turned into my aesthetic coach, who gave me direction and kept me from wasting money when it came to offering specific procedures, technology, and devices. She kept me focused on investing in things proven to grow the bottom line, so I got a lot more bang for my buck than I would have on my own. I'm grateful to Catherine for sharing her time and talents with us. Although I originally balked at her fees, I quickly learned how much more value we got from the experience that saved us a tremendous amount of time and money that would have been wasted. I highly recommend using Catherine's coaching and consulting services if you want to do it right the first time. Then Dr. Caravino also runs a very successful solo surgeon plastic surgery practice in a very competitive area. And here's what he said. Catherine's consulting service has paid for itself many times over the investment I made engaging with her. Working with her helped change my perspective of how to run my already successful practice to one that is more streamlined and profitable. The training she gave my staff was also fantastic. I hear my staff using Catherine's strategies to close more calls and consultations. They're also taking more initiative to implement the strategies Catherine customized for our practice. If you have plateaued, or if the gaps in your processes are costing you, Catherine can help. She's worth every penny. And then lastly, Dr. Soto runs a busy plastic surgery practice in Orlando, and here's what he said. Your on-site practice visit was awesome and invaluable. Thanks to your strong presentation and people skills, we were able to shift the culture in our practice, and that has made a significant difference in the way my staff is interacting with my patients. You also made it possible for me to figure out what to do with key staff members, and that has allowed me to grow the best team to support my vision for the future. It was money well spent. Thank you. When you two say yes to working with me, we're going to customize the agenda depending on what you want to get out of our time together, and we're going to follow this game plan. First, we set the stage. We clarify your vision and goals to benchmark so you know we're making progress. We'll identify your current assets to build from, as well as your image building strategies to pre-frame you as the best choice. Then we'll look at your infrastructure, as in how the phones are handled, and my team will mystery shop ahead of time. We'll look at the software used to track and generate reports to study your stats, and we'll review your processes and protocol. Next, we'll look at the people. We'll determine if the right people are on board and in the right seats. I'll then train them to represent you professionally and convert more callers and consultations. We'll look at staff incentives and how you motivate them. And I'll show you a great managed by metrics system you will all love. Then I'll look at your processes to include the handling of leads, following up after the consultation that didn't book, and the protocol for before and after photos, reviews, and referrals. Lastly, we'll look at your marketing, and that's going to include your website and internet presence seen from the prospective patient's point of view. We'll then map out a year-round marketing plan and social media plan, an internal marketing plan, and external marketing plan. So you'll walk away with a specific plan for your practice. It's like having your own playbook, so you and your team know exactly what to do and how to run your practice smoothly. Now, back to staff training. During my visit to your office, I'll spend time with your staff and train them to convert more callers and consultations by at least 10%. That means if you're getting 100 calls per month, that gives you an extra $432K per year, which more than covers my fees. So what is your investment? My fees are $5K per month for 3 months, including a full day on-site assessment in your practice to give you the most value possible to ensure we not only identify the practice gaps costing you dearly, but will also execute the solutions we deem necessary to fix them. Now, we'll work together for 90 days to ensure the strategies get executed and you see traction building in way of better results and a smoother running practice, because I'm not here to waste your time or mine. I'll give you the templates, the maps, the visuals, and the tools, as well as a full 90 days of support to set you up for success. Get all the details now at www.consultwithkatherine.com. So as you can see, this investment of only $5K per month for 3 months made in you, your staff, and the growth of your practice far exceeds the consulting fees I'm getting, because you're getting back in return a proven plan to transform your practice into a smooth running operation with easy to follow processes, professionally trained staff who are moneymakers versus overhead, and clarity to know what to focus on that makes all the difference in the world. And what's more, when you say yes now, you also get these 4 free practice building tools to kickstart things so you see results immediately. You and your staff get unlimited access to 16 modules in morepatientsacademy.com online learning center to hone your patient attraction, practice building, and converting skills. That's a value of $998. You also get the flip scripts your receptionist can follow to help her increase her conversions by 20 to 30% within 48 hours. And your coordinator will get the step-by-step flip scripts to convert more consultations confidently, so you get more yeses than nos. And that's a value of $997. So let me ask you this. If all this did was help your team members use these tools to become the best converting receptionist and or coordinator you've ever had, what's that worth to you? 100K, 200K, or more? Yes, it would, but I'm not done yet. You also get a customized cosmetic practice blueprint, so you too can now manage by metrics. This gives your staff accountability as well as clarity and gives you peace of mind to know what your numbers are. And you also get your own step-by-step blueprint customized with the exact details you need for your own cosmetic patient marketing machine. This will give you and your staff clarity for how to keep revenues consistent, and that's a value of $997. Now, what would it be worth to you if you had this kind of clarity to know your numbers, have a plan in place, and you were able to manage your metrics with peace of mind? 100K, 250K, $500,000? Think of it this way. If all this did was give you a marketing plan to consistently attract new patients, convert them more often, and encourage them to refer more of their friends, what would that be worth to you? An extra 200K, 400K, more? Let me be frank here. I've seen surgeons spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a laser that sits idle after 2 months, and then they panic and throw massive amounts of cash at Google AdWords only to get back lackluster results. What I'm proposing here is to invest in the fundamentals of what makes your practice solid and profitable now as well as for the rest of your career, no matter what changes happen in the industry. Because as Warren Buffett himself said, the best investment you will ever make is in yourself. Boy, isn't that the truth? There's no better time than now to better your best. Go to www.consultwithkatherine.com to get started. So to recap, here's everything you're going to get when we work together. The on-site assessment, the infrastructure, the people, the processes, the marketing. You'll get data analysis, mystery shopping, staff training. You get the patient attraction and conversion blueprint customized to you, the follow-up assessment report with templates and forms, and then you get all the bonuses. The bonus number 1, which is More Patients Academy online training for a value of $19.97. You get the flip scripts for better conversions, value at $9.98. You get the practice metrics for staff accountability customized to your practice, the value of $9.97. And then the patient attraction and conversion blueprint customized to your practice, valued at $9.97. The total bonus value is $4,987. And you can get started now when you go to www.consultwithkatherine.com. So I really do look forward to working with you to build your practice into a well-run business that runs smoothly with or without you, with a professional team supporting you and differentiating you as the best choice so you don't compete on price, all while having a plan in place that generates more consistent revenues you can count on month after month because you have systems in place you can measure. Please go now to www.consultwithkatherine.com and let's talk soon.
We hope you found valuable insight on this episode of Beauty and the Biz. For more episodes, tools, and Katherine's free book, visit www.katherinemaley.com. That's www.katherinemaley.com. And be sure to subscribe to get the latest practice building strategies delivered to you. And don't forget to share this Beauty and the Biz podcast with your staff and colleagues.